Hello and welcome everyone to episode 30, where we have a lot of interesting races for this episode. So it should be a very exciting episode, including the race that I've teased all the way back in episode 26. It will be the biggest race of the KoRail career that I am certain of. But let's start this episode off with the Giro d'Abruzzo, an Italian very mountainous race. 4 stages here for us, especially that third stage will be a killer. Look at that uphill finish there. At the end of that third stage, it will be incredibly difficult. In the meantime, it's basically just survival here in these first 2 stages as well, where we try to get a good position for that third stage. Next up, we have the Ronde van Limburg. Very flat, a lot of cobble sections, kind of like a classic race, but not really classified as a classic race in that sense. But, you know, it's good for us to try out and get some experience in before this very important race that we are about to do. Some more experience has to be gotten here on the classic Grand Pescan Doubs. Very hilly, again, some cobbles here as well. So the preparation is important here in these 2 races for our riders. Next, we have the Tour de Jura Cycliste, another French race, very hilly. Again, look at that finish here at the end of this race. Very, very mountainous and very difficult here for our riders to be successful in. And last, but certainly not least, it is the Amstel Gold Race. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the classic that I teased. It is a classic for me, at least. It is a huge race here in the Netherlands. It is the Amstel Gold Race. Hills, cobbles, mountains, difficult sections. This will be the race to test our riders to their maximum, to their limits. Let's see if we can perform in the most difficult race of our career at the end of this episode. As we started off here with Il Giro d'Abruzzo, the lovely hilly first episode or first race of this tour. It should be a flat finish, perfect for the sprinters, but that means that they have to survive the hills within this race first. Can they do that? We'll have to find out.
Hello and welcome. It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race.
A very short introduction here from the commentator. I think my introduction was much longer than his, but we are stuck here all the way in the middle of the peloton. Again, there's some bonus seconds here at the beginning of this stage. I would love to go out and try to get those bonus seconds here, but the breakaway is already forming. Trying to send out Florian Carpentier to try and get into the breakaway, hopefully to get some bonus seconds, which will move him up into the general classification, or move him up with a positioning in the general classification. That is the aim of today. And again, a very flat section there at the end, perfect for our sprinters. But as you can see here, not really much in the form of sprinters here with us, as we have basically our entire mountain team with Jaewon Jun, with Baptiste Gregoire, with Owen Cole, with Diego Casaniga. So a lot of these large mountain riders here today in this race, hoping that they can perform well here in these 4 stages in this very difficult Italian classic. Obviously our Italian rider as well, he has to represent his country here in this race. 10 kilometers left to go here. You see you're coming back at this part of the race. We are going up that hill as quickly as possible. We are really pushing this peloton to its limits. You see there is a group that has broken off already, who is 2 minutes behind the peloton at the moment, but the peloton is still quite large, and it means that that peloton stretched out will mean that they can catch back up, but it keeps on splitting. As you can see, riders of ours that are in trouble are breaking off here towards the back. Kim Sung-bom sadly in that second half of the peloton trying to survive this little mountain, and we want to be up front here while we get closer and closer to that flag section where we can sprint for a victory here in this race. Can we do well here? We'll have to find out as we try and lead out as well as possible. The downhill statistics here of Diego are not super great, as you can see, so he's having a lot of issues here in this descent. The other riders are able to close up here, trying to attack a little bit early here with him to try and force something from other riders, try to make sure that he uses his energy. We get to the bottom of this hill with 2 kilometers to go. That means we can do a very early sprint here with our riders. A little bit over 1 kilometer to go. I tried to basically just sprint with everyone that we have. We are in a fantastic position here with our riders. Can Owen Cole here pass the remainder of our riders? He should be the better sprinter, with Florian Carpentier, our French rider, actually doing incredible here in this stage. Other riders also doing very, very well here in this final sprint. But the French rider here showing off his sprinting ability at the final of this race, winning the first stage of the Giro d'Abruzzo. Great job here by our French rider, who will have many struggles later on in this race, I'm certain. But for now, he has won this first stage here in this very difficult Italian race. A great result here by him. Grégoire Baptiste and Jae Hwan-jun also very well positioned here in this race with a 3rd and 4th place. 7th place for Owen Cole and a 12th also for Joseph Turnbull. So good job here by the team. Did a great job here getting into that flat section as first as a team. So getting a very good exit position here, good sprint here as well, making sure that we get across the line and win this first stage here of this very difficult Italian tour. Obviously still first in the general classification as well. You see the rest of our riders basically in the same position. No additional bonus seconds have been gotten by the riders that were in the breakaway. You see them probably all the way at the bottom here, exhausted, tried to be in the breakaway for a very long time, and with this very difficult hilly terrain, it is impossible to get a good result if you exert too much effort here in the beginning of these races. So we raced tactically here. We saved our energy for the end, and at the end we did an almighty sprint here to get across the line as first. That means we have the top 3 in the Young Riders classification, and we are first in the team classification as well. A great position here for the team. I do want to extend the lead here with our mountain riders, and hopefully we can do so here in the second stage of the Giro d'Abruzzo. Again, some hills here for sure, but at the end it flattens out. It should be another sprint finish here, but maybe our mountain riders can do an upset.
The route is fairly hilly, so there should be plenty of action. The weather conditions are excellent.
This time we are in the front of the peloton, but the bonus seconds are more towards the end of the race here, so no real good opportunity for us to get some additional bonus seconds. I think it would be a waste of effort if we really sent someone out to try and get those bonus seconds, or to really try and be in the breakaway here, especially with that hill towards the end. It is another point in this race where we will want to push. In the meantime, we will protect our riders here in the peloton, survive this initial little hill here where there are some mountain points, try and sprint for that sprint finish, and aim for that mountain towards the end. And you see we tried to push as hard as we could, but we are already in the descent here. The peloton still mostly together. There's a little group that fell off here at the mountain, but we are trying to sprint for another victory here in the second race in the Giro d'Abruzzo. So, and we are looking rather good actually still in this descent. The flat section coming about here, and we still have 3 kilometers remaining. We're trying to give it us all, trying to make sure that we use up most of our energy. We have so much energy remaining here with our riders, and there's a little corner there at the end, and I want to be first into that corner for sure, because I'm sure the 1 kilometer mark is right here, and that means that we want to sprint with everyone that we have, hopefully get a good result here. In the end, Florian Carpentier, once again, the best sprinter here of the peloton. A great result here by our French rider, Baptiste Grégoire, with a 2nd place as well. A great job here by our 2 French riders in this Italian tour, showing up the Italians, I should say, in their own tour. It's 1st and 2nd place here by our 2 French riders. Great job here by them. Additional bonus seconds will be brought to them as well, of course. And here is the trophy for Florian Carpentier, winner of the 1st and the 2nd stage of the Giro d'Abruzzo. That means additional bonus seconds, which should improve his position in the general classification even more, right? It should extend his lead at least. And I'm curious what this will do for the position of Grégoire Baptiste, or Baptiste Grégoire. He is in such a good position. Also, Jae Hwan-jun still finishing as 8th, our Italian rider finishing as 10th. Owen Cole, slightly disappointing, finishing as 15. He should be a better sprinter than most of our team, to be honest. And his mountain statistics are also pretty good, but he has been struggling here in these last couple of races. There are not a lot of additional UCI points in these past episodes as well, so he's been having a very difficult time, hopefully able to regain his form soon. Baptiste Grégoire moving up all the way to 3rd place. Jae Hwan-jun and Owen Cole moving down a couple of places thanks to those bonus seconds at the end of the finish. And Florian Carpentier obviously extending his lead even more on the number 2. So a great job here by our French rider. 12 seconds on the number 2 at the moment. We are still first in the points classification because of those bonus points at the end of the race. First in the Young Riders classification, and team-wise we are doing excellent still. So plenty of opportunities here for our team. Still 2 races left to go, and those will be very, very difficult races. Races where we have to survive. But we have Baptiste Grégoire and Juan Junjie in the perfect position here in this race, in a top 10, both of them. And I'm hoping that they can deliver a good result here in the coming 2 stages here. While I check out the remainder statistic. Look at the Young Riders, by the way. Most of our team part, or basically our entire team part of that Young Riders classification in the top 10. All 6 riders in the top 10 of the Young Riders classification. The team's statistics, we went down a little bit, which is surprising because I feel like we should have went up. But it is what it is. It's not really what we're focusing on. We want to get a good result here in the general classification. And if we do, we need to perform here in this 3rd stage of the Giro d'Abruzzo. A very difficult stage here with that incredible mountain at the end. Can we survive it, or will we falter?
Said that their chances of doing so are slim, if not non-existent.
Again, if you're not a climber in this race, I think you'll have a lot of issues here. So good luck to anyone who is not a climber. Good luck to Florian Carpentier, because his mountain statistics are solid, okay. Don't get me wrong, but he's really much more a support rider. Same with Kim Song-bom. Kim Song-bom will have it very difficult today with the -3 statistics. Owen Cole, though, +3. Great statistics for him today. Baptiste Grégoire also with a +2. So I'm hoping that those statistics will carry us up this mountain. It will be very important for us to survive that mountain at the end. And in the meantime, we'll protect our riders in the peloton. Let's not waste too much energy here in the beginning of this race with this already relatively difficult hill/mountain section. And just aim for that, and starting that final mountain here in this race. It will be difficult enough, so let's save our energy for that area. And of course, I'm bringing you back in 12 kilometers from the finish. Kim Song-bom already 24 minutes behind the peloton. He's having such a horrible day today because of those minus statistics. But we are pushing on here in this mountain. We don't want to make it too easy for the other riders, but I think I'm starting off this mountain much too hard while I'm trying to be upfront here with Diego Cazaniga. I'm trying to be the Team UAE Emirates here in this race and trying to prove how strong my team is. But the energy is very slowly but surely going down here of our riders, and the mountain is long. Still 9 kilometers left. We've only been going for 2 kilometers, and you see here 3 of our riders are already struggling, and that means that we still have so long to go. This mountain is so long. You see me trying to put Carpentier a little bit more in the back, hoping that he can survive a little bit longer, trying to regain a little bit more energy, hoping that he can keep his yellow jersey a little bit more. You see me also slowing down a little bit with Joseph Turnbull to make sure that our riders can survive a little bit longer. I want Jaewon Jun to be up front here in this peloton to hopefully survive. I'm trying to make sure that Carpentier survives this last 7 kilometers as well, trying to just make him do his own thing, slowing down a little bit more even with Jaewon Jun. Again, we are kind of like pushing up this mountain very quickly here with the team. We are using a lot of energy, exerting a lot of effort. The start of this hill was, or the start of this mountain I should say, was the most difficult part of this mountain, so I'm not expecting it to become more difficult. The finish of this mountain is supposed to be the easiest part, but there's still 5 kilometers left to go. 2 riders remaining here, or 3 riders I guess if you count Jaewon Jun, but his energy is almost depleted here. We are trying to just survive towards that finish line. I'm trying to save Jaewon Jun's energy, his last little smidge, for as long as possible, trying to wait with the energy gels for as long as possible, trying to hold off on using them. 3 kilometers remaining. This is the moment where I decide that I should use those energy gels, because the next 3 kilometers will be hell for our riders. They will start to speed up. They will try to make it more difficult for our competitors, for our team. You see Owen Cole coming towards the front of this peloton. Baptiste Grégoire, the mountain rider with very good statistics, suffering under the pace of Owen Cole. But one thing I didn't notice was the yellow bar here of our riders. 1 kilometer remaining, and you see that Owen Cole is done for. Grégoire Baptiste is done for. Both of our riders who were in such a good position here at the front of this race are absolutely done energy-wise, and that means that we will fall back here in the peloton. Groups of riders are jumping forward more and more. Of course, UAE wins the stage here with Brandon McNulty. And the remainder of our riders are just trying to get towards the front as quickly as possible, trying to survive this last little bit of this mountain stage here in this very, very difficult race. Kim Sung-bom 28 minutes behind the number 1 at the moment. Jae-won Jun even 2 or almost 3 minutes behind here. You see me trying to manage it a little bit more. Come on, Hwan-jun, you're almost there. You're so close to that finish line. But in the end, he gets across the finish line many minutes behind the number 1. And that means that Baptiste Grégoire moves down the general classification 45 seconds now behind that number 1. Owen Cole also moving down 51 seconds behind the number 1. Hwan Jun-jae, who is looking so strong, almost 4 minutes behind the number 1. So we have made it not really a fool of ourselves, I would say, but we have lost so many positions here in this race. We looked so strong, we looked so good, we were in such a lead position here in the general classification, but we dropped down, and I don't know how many chances there are to regain that top position here in this 4th stage, a very, very hilly stage. So maybe we can push on here, make it difficult for some riders. Maybe they use too much energy in this 3rd stage, and we can push on in this 4th stage, hoping for a good classification.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. This morning, some of the riders were carrying wide smiles. It goes without saying that it was neither the sprinters nor those who prefer the flat. Yes, it was the climbers, and the reasons were obvious. With today's conditions, the spotlight will be on them.
Unlike the other stages, this was a very long introduction by the commentator. Wow, very nice. Anyway, trying to stay here in the peloton once again. You see how many mountainous areas there are here in this stage. I want to conserve some energy. I want to remain in the peloton until at least that middle mountain point, maybe even later, where we can push on and try to break some of the other riders. I don't want to waste too much energy here in the beginning section, and you see us now with 9 kilometers left to go. The mountains have done their damage. We are trying to survive here in the final 8 kilometers here of this stage. It's basically survival of the fittest here, and our team was definitely not the fittest. Unlike the last stage where statistics were really good, Baptiste Grégoire and Owen Cole only a +1 today here in this race, so they are struggling very, very much. And there's still riders up ahead here in this stage, so I'm trying to move into the lead here with Owen Cole, hoping to break apart some of the riders here that have proved themselves very, very strong yesterday, hoping that Owen Cole can do a good job here in this race. After the top of this mountain, there is a bit of a downhill section, and the finish is uphill, so I want to get across this hill as first. We've caught all the riders in breakaway here with Owen Cole. I'm hoping to regain a lot of this energy here in this descent. His downhill statistics are great, so he's looking very, very strong here in this descent. And then I want to sit here on the wheel as long as possible, try to not push on too far. 1 kilometer remaining. I know not to sprint too early. There's still a lot of this uphill section. You see the top is where it is the most difficult, and just before we reach that top, Owen Cole runs out of energy. He is in the top 6 here. There is a gap towards the yellow jersey. Can he make it in, or can he move up in the general classification? There is a big gap towards the yellow jersey. A top 6 position here for Owen Cole. Those bonus seconds would have helped him in moving up even further. But let's see in the general classification what has been done here with his position. Only 6 positions. So Owen Cole moved from 17th position all the way to 11th. A great job here by Owen Cole, but not good enough to move all the way up into that top 10. The American rider looking really, really strong here in the final race of the Giro d'Abruzzo. You see the rest of our team moving up a bunch of positions as well. Our Italian rider only moving a couple down. But the rest of our team moving some positions up. That shows how incredibly difficult this stage was in the end. I would have liked to do a bit better here with our mountain riders. It shows that our mountain riders are not up to par with these other very, very good mountain riders, and these aren't even the top mountain riders in the world. So it shows how difficult it is for us to really compete in these mountain sections and in these mountain races. It also is a lack of experience, which I'm hoping to gain with these races, so maybe next time we'll do even better. Now let's go on to the Ronde van Limburg, a flat stage with plenty of cobbles and lots of excitement.
The race has cobbled sections that are renowned for testing both bikes and their riders. You've got to know what you're doing.
And I hope that we know what we're doing here with our flat riders here, with our sprinters, with our cobbled riders as well. I'm sending out Hong here, who again has had his first large success in these races, in the 2.1 race here in the Tour of Thailand. A great result here for our Korean rider, and I'm hoping that he can win a day stage race as well. In the meantime, with Hong out in the breakaway, we'll defend Paul Fietske and Christoph Král, who's looking great. A +3 statistics for Christoph Král, while Noah Isidore has a -3, so very, very poor statistics here for our French rider, who I was kind of hoping on to do well here in these cobbled races. Again, we have that major race coming up. We need to get positioned properly. We need to make sure that we get that experience in. And now with 8 kilometers remaining, or 7 kilometers remaining, we only have 3 riders left here in the peloton for us. There are attacks after attacks. The group basically splits up a little bit with the force of these large attacks. I want to make it more and more difficult here for our riders. Our French rider is in a fantastic position here, in 3rd position in our little sprint train that is happening right now. We have 4 kilometers remaining. We're really pushing up here on this hill. We are looking so very strong here, getting some energy back in this descent. We still have 2 riders remaining here with 2.7 kilometers. The peloton is exhausted. You see them splitting up more and more here in this race. Another little uphill section here for the riders here, trying to stick on the wheel of Paul Fietske for as long as possible. Our French rider Fiel jumps from his wheel. Can he make it towards the finish line? As first he just gets past towards the finish line by all these top sprinters here, and he loses out sadly in 4th position on that podium position. A poor result here for our French rider, who looked so strong here a kilometer before this race, was left in perfect position to sprint against these top riders, but just barely missed out. A poor result here for the position that he had, but we're very proud here of our very young French rider. The rest of our riders also coming across the line a little bit later. Paul Fietske still in a top 10. What a great result also for him, to be honest. He was part of the lead out, so getting a 9th place here is great. And then around a 30th position is Christoph Král. So a 4th place here with our French rider is, I think, one of the better results that we could get here. A lot of 4th places here for our French rider. 3rd and 4th places are his forte. To be fair, again, he is still very young and has plenty of room for improvement, so we'll see how he will do in the future. Now on to this French race, which is rather hilly, but has a flat end, so I'm pretty sure it will end up in another last sprint.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. The race will take place under a bright sun.
Unlike in the previous race, Noah Isidore with a +3 in statistics, looking very, very strong today with the rest of the team, I would say. Except for Paul Fietske, who has a -1, even though this is his forte, so I'm hoping that his expertise will carry him through this race. The breakaway will definitely not make it towards the end here. I'm pretty sure we'll push pretty hard here, especially on that last section of hills. I'm betting everything on Noah Isidore and Paul Fietske. I don't think this will be the terrain of Adrien Viel this time, especially with that slightly uphill finish towards the end. It looks like it slightly arches uphill. So I'm hoping that we will make it there and do a good final sprint here. Perfect for the puncheurs, perfect for Noah Isidore. Now we are on one of the final hills before the finish line, and you see the breakaway is still away. 25 seconds here on this hill. Everyone is pushing, trying to attack, trying to breach across the breakaway here that has 8 riders remaining, 2 fall off, 6 left now in that breakaway when we reach the top of this hill, and then we are in full chase mode, trying to get downhill as quickly as possible towards that rather flat section to try and make it towards these riders and try to still win this race. 25 seconds, the gap is increasing, so they're doing an excellent job here in this downhill section. We are struggling to keep up with them. Other riders seem to be blocking our team, so that also makes it difficult for us to really chase after them properly. It kind of shows that they want to make the breakaway, make it all the way towards the end. We keep chasing after. It's all the way up to 30 seconds now. Paul Fietske giving his everything to try and make it towards the breakaway. Other riders are already sprinting. I'm doing a very early sprint here before the 1 kilometer mark with Noah Isidore. There's a weird little corner here, so we do a weird little move. And Noah Isidore still manages to pass one of the riders, but the other 5 managed to stay away here in the breakaway. No chance for us to get another podium place here in this race. And sadly, a 6th place here for Noah Isidore after an excellent finish here by him. His statistics shining, honestly, doing really, really well here. But a 6th place here, sadly, for Noah Isidore in this race. A 12th place here for Paul Fietske as well, and a 18th place here for Adrien Vial. But we really want to get that podium position here in this French race. Trying to, do better here in these flat races, in these difficult mountainy, hilly sections here, and hopefully get a good result here with the team. That is what we are aiming for. We do get first in the team classification, so that's nice at least. I think that is well deserved after the effort that we put in, but again, no top podium position here today for us. And again, all of this is leading up towards that final race that we will do, gaining that experience, understanding these cobbled and hill races a little bit better here with the team, getting that cooperation in these very difficult races, getting better as a team, getting better with these riders to perform in the end in these elite races that we will do. And what is better to perform in than, of course, this additional French race, which is very, very hilly. Will it be good for the punchers, or will it be better for the hill climbers / mountain climbers? We'll have to find out here in the Tour de Jura Cycliste. Again, very hilly, very mountainous. That finish is what makes me scared the most. Can we survive it with our riders? We'll have to find out. Hopefully, we've brought the right riders for this race.
Hello to one and all. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. The race will take place in beautiful sunny conditions.
The conditions are nice and sunny, but our statistics really are not. Joseph Turnbull with a -3. I was really betting on maybe also again Noah Isidore, but -1 again. Paul Fietske looking pretty good. +1. The rest of our riders, not so much. The breakaway will definitely not make it here. I have zero faith in that. So we will sit in the peloton, wait and survive until the end. And I bring you back here with 10 kilometers to go. You see the mountains in between have been too difficult here for Joseph Turnbull, whose statistics are horrendous. And Florian Carpentier, who does not seem to be the stamina beast as he was in the previous season. He's having some troubles here in this season. And while we find our way up this mountain, up the peloton, as you see, it is going very, very quickly, which is surprising. These riders are really racing up this hill. A lot of the peloton has already been left behind. Many of our riders also falling more and more behind. I'm trying to just stick it out here in this peloton, but it seems to be so very tricky here in these mountains. Noah Isidore and Paul Fietske basically chasing after this peloton, trying to keep up here with this excruciating pace as we reach a little bit of a flat section, a little bit of a downhill section. And in this downhill section, we managed to actually stick up front on this peloton, which is pretty great here for us. If we were still fighting all the way from the back here towards this up front position, we would be in so much trouble. Still 3 kilometers remaining. This hill is so very, very steep. I don't know what to do here with our riders. I'm just trying to stick it out here as long as possible. Once again, hoping that they will survive. I would have loved to have a little bit more of our mountain riders here to carry us through towards the finish line here, but with 2 kilometers remaining, you see our energy slowly but surely reaching out here. Paul Fietske now trying to just stick up front here in this very difficult race, just trying to survive here these last 1.5 kilometers, hoping that his energy doesn't run out too quickly. You'll see a lot of these riders already pushing. The 1 kilometer mark is right here. Do I sprint? Do I wait? Do I wait a little bit longer? Yes, I do. Trying to sprint now here with 600 kilometers remaining, but his energy kind of runs out immediately, and that means that Paul Fietske does not get a podium position here in this race. Will a fourth be in the cards? It is looking like it here for us as the gap increases immediately towards these French riders here. We were not one of the 10 favorites here of this race, but we do get a fourth position here with Paul Fitzke. Where does Noah Isidore end up here? You saw he got dropped a little bit before that 2 kilometer mark, around the 2 kilometer mark, struggling now up these last 2 kilometers. No energy left here for our riders, having such a difficult time. Will he get a top 10 position? Obviously not, because the top 10 is already done. A 13th position here for Noah Isidore, just behind Paul César, who has an incredible season in real life, actually. Noah Isidore, not as much. Paul Fitzke here in 4th, happy with that, to be honest. Again, a very difficult race here, a very mountainous race. I was kind of betting more on Jaewon Jun and other mountain riders here to do a little bit better, but the pace was just too high here on this mountain, too difficult here for our riders. In the end, Paul Fitzke being the toughest one, being able to survive and get a 4th place here for us. Now let's head on to the Amstel Gold Race, a race that I was honestly, for the first time ever, nervous starting it. This race, with many hills, cobbled sections, windy sections, is one of the toughest races we've ever ridden. I think we are the worst team here in the peloton. Can we even get a top 20 position or a top 50? We'll have to do our best.
The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing.
Again, we've had 2 World Tour races so far, one with a top 10, one with a top 60. So not super great here. The World Tour race, which was a similar class as this, we had a top 60 in, and we want to improve that result. Obviously, we want to do well here, but it will be very difficult here for Jaewon Jun and Baptiste Grégoire, who have terrible stats once again. Noah Isidore and Paul Fitzke, the main riders for us today in this race with positive stats, thankfully. Not really going to chase after the breakaway here. I'm going to let them go and want to sit here in the peloton, look at the stage here, look at the minimap at the bottom right, look at all the difficult mountainous sections that will be here for us in this race. I do not want to exhaust my riders by being in a breakaway. I don't want to chase after this breakaway. I want to sit in the peloton and conserve as many energy for our riders as possible. And bringing you back now here for a quick in-between check here for the 40 kilometer mark. As I've done also in the previous ride, where at the 50 kilometer mark, I think we were already braking, and we are having a similar issue here. A group of 16 riders is away from the peloton. The gap seems to be closing here up this hill, but we are struggling so insanely much. We're trying to defend our riders here in this race. Jaewon Jun and Hong Ji-won already so exhausted here, did their best defending our riders. That means that we still have some relatively fresh legs here on Noah Isidore and Paul Fitzke. Owen Cole also struggling here in this race. We're just trying to be part here of this peloton, trying to survive the Fromberg here and try to get into that descent, try to, stick it out here in the peloton, trying to not exhaust ourselves too much. We want to stick it on here towards the end. Paul Fitzke almost losing the wheel here of the peloton. It is so tough here in this race. Can we stick here in this peloton with over 30 kilometers left to go? The peloton seems to be hellbent on chasing their group ahead down, and we want to just conserve as much energy. Maybe there will be breakaways later on that we want to be part of. Again, breakaways early on in these classic races, generally not too exciting. Breakaways later on in these classics, very, very difficult to deal with. As we now head up the Keutenberg, look at that profile here. So intense, basically black entirely, except for that and the last little bit of that hill. That means that we will struggle getting up here. We do manage to barely make it up here with Baptiste Grégoire. And the peloton splits here. Noah Isidore is in the right side of the peloton. As you can see, the peloton has split up front, 30-second gap here, and we need to use our riders to chase that peloton back down. I want to be in that front group with as many riders as possible, but again, I also don't want to exert my riders too much, so I'm trying to move forward here with Owen Cole, trying to use a little bit of energy. The group is right there, right in front of us. Even if I can get Paul Fitzke into that group, that would be incredible already. We can use him to help out Noah Isidore, or we can use Noah Isidore to help out Paul Fitzke. Whoever has the better legs at the last kilometers of this stage, it does not matter for me. Meanwhile, I try to position Noah Isidore here in this group right behind some of the best riders in the entire world. You see some riders here of the professional teams trying to get back towards that main bunch as well. They've missed out here in the front of this peloton. So they want to catch back up here towards this front group and get a good chance for a good qualification here, or good classification here in this race. You see the peloton slowly but surely getting a little bit closer and then extending away again and then getting a little bit closer. The last riders are right there, a bit of an uphill section, so I decide to do a little bit of an attack here with Paul Fietske to bridge over towards that main group, and we do manage to get all the way back here into that top group. But again, you see the pace here of this group. It is so threatening here for our riders. Paul Fietske has to exert so much energy to just try and stay with this group here. That means that he has lost most of his energy, and I try to stick Noah Isidore here on his wheel while another group rides away here into the last 13 kilometers of this race, and this is dangerous here for us, ladies and gentlemen. These little groups that ride away here will be very, very scary for us, especially if we want a top 10 here in this race. I cannot let this happen. It should be a little bit of a descent here for our riders. I'm trying to let Paul Fietske do as much of this lead out as possible, or try to chase down the group as much as possible here in this race. We are doing such a big effort to try and close this gap here for these other riders. Other teams, other riders do not seem too interested in attacking or trying to close this gap. They are in our wheel. They are waiting to see what we will do. And I'm sending out Noah Isidore here to try and catch up with this front group, with these other riders, while the main peloton holds their legs still. Paul Fietske, part now of that main peloton, trying to recover as much as possible. Noah Isidore here with 13 riders in the front group with less than 6 kilometers to go, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a fantastic position here. We just need to regain some energy. Noah is totally done here energy-wise, and it's still so many hills, so much tough terrain here for him. There are 2 riders here up ahead, and the rest of the group does not seem too keen on chasing them down. They hold their legs a little bit still here in this group. I do not want to chase them down myself. I do not want to give others the option to get a better sprint here for me, because we will definitely be sprinting here for as good of a position as possible. A little bit over a kilometer remaining. You see me getting into the wheel of Tom Pidcock, one of the top riders here in the world. 1 kilometer left here for those front riders. They are about a minute away, so I'm trying to hold my legs still, trying to be in the wheel, trying to wait it out, trying to go for that top position here. We will not get a top 2 here. We will not win the Amstel Gold Race, but we sprint here for a top position. Can we get a top 3? No, the other riders are too strong, but where do we end up here? A 5th place just behind Noah Isidore. A great result here from Noah Isidore in this World Tour race, in this classic race here in the Amstel Gold Race. What an incredible result here from our riders. Try to sprint here as well with Paul Fietske to get as good of a result as possible, but no top 20 here for him. A 46th place here in the Amstel Gold Race, which is still fantastic compared to the previous race that we've done, where we got a, I think, top 60. Noah Isidore, a 5th place here by our French rider, our newest signee, proving how incredibly well he is riding here in this race, amongst some of the most, or the most qualified, the best riders in the entire world here. You see here, Paul Fietske, even finishing a 46, is not a joke here with the riders that are around him. So an incredible result here by him. Really, really, really well done. Made sure that Noah Isidore got close towards that front group, closed the gap as much as possible, and was able to lead out Noah Isidore towards that front group, so he had a chance at that 5th place. Really well done here for our team. Incredible result here by Noah Isidore. I am so satisfied. We were hoping for a better result here, hoping for a better result than a top 60, maybe a top 40, maybe a top 20. Obviously, I'm hoping for a top 10, but a 5th place here in the Amstel Gold Race is an incredible result here. We did our best in this race. We tried to chase down these groups. We tried to put as much effort in as possible. And you see me here looking at Jürgen Nordhagen. What an incredible rider this is for 22 years old as well. Really, really strong here, these riders that we finished amongst. Absolutely insane result here for KoRail, this tiny Korean team. Absolutely fantastic. Now I wanted to take you to Axios Cycling, which is our under 23 team as well here, after this little fantastic Amstel Gold Race here. And you see our under 23 team that we have started up at the beginning of this season. No good results for them so far. No real potential for these riders either. You see our best rider has a 4-star potential. So I don't think very much will come from this, but I wanted to show you guys our little under 23 team that is doing their best. 15th place so far is the best result that they've gotten in one of the under 20 under 23 races that they have done. And of course, we have been scouting for new riders as well. And here I want to point out our top scouted rider so far, which is Ethan Marin. 17 years old only, but look at those statistics, look at that potential as well. Absolutely insane here, this rider. So I'm hoping to at least sign him for next year, at least to our under 23 team if possible. We'll have to see if that is a possibility or not. I'm very much hoping so, because this is a rider that we do not want to waste here for our team. Again, really good potential here. I'm hoping for him to grow a little bit more, and I'm hoping to scout more of these riders here, more of these Korean riders or other Asian riders that we could incorporate into our team. I think that will be important for later for sure here, especially for the team that we have. Now let's head to the victories. We have 2 additional victories here in this race. Really good job here by our riders. Obviously no victory here in the Amstel Gold race, but I think a 5th place is still incredibly good. It's not part of these statistics here, so even if we don't get a podium place here, I think we can still get incredible results here with top 10s that we do in these World Tour races. And you now also see Florian Carpentier on this list, who has 2 additional wins here in these races. A great job by him, moving him up immediately to 4th place here in the victory classification of our team. Onto the total points. The 5th place here in the Amstel Gold race has boosted Noah Isidora all the way above 700 points. Really good job here by him. Paul Fietske also gaining plenty of points. He was getting closer and closer here to Noah Isidora, but that boost here in the Amstel Gold race has made him out of reach once again. Can Paul Fietske close that gap down? Can he do anything here to gain on Noah Isidora, or will Noah Isidora just gain more and more of a point lead here? We'll have to find out in the coming episodes. Thank you again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the Amstel Gold race and the other exciting races that we did in this episode. The next couple of episodes won't have as exciting of a World Tour races, but I'm sure there will be plenty of other races in there that will be just as exciting. I hope you look forward to watching those as well. So thank you again for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next time. Goodbye.